Make these 3 investments and never worry about money again. Number 1, business. So we hear all the time real estate, real estate, real estate. Well, did you know that business is top priority? So, business, it actually brings in more money than real estate. So, either creating a business or buying an already pre existing business. And if you're interested in what platforms to find these businesses on, check out my newsletter below and sign up. So, business is very important. It can be creating your own business or buying an already existing business where the systems are already set up. So, these businesses are all around you, right? But have you ever thought about buying one of them? So, you may be thinking, how am I going to buy one? Well, some of them actually offer seller financing. It's just something that we probably have never thought about because of how we came up. So, business is one priority, either creating a business or buying an existing business. And if you're interested on different business ideals, especially if you are um, maybe you're not used to the business world because of how you grew up, then tune in and I will be bringing different business owners onto the show. All right. So just be patient with me. They are coming and they will be on sporadically. So, actually creating a business or buying a business, or you could do both. All right. It's better to focus though. Focus and then get that thing going and then add on to it. All right. So that's going to bring in the most revenue. Now, there are other ways to get into business. And an example of that would be the stock market. So this is less risky. However, this takes a long time, but it's still a good idea to be in the stock market, especially if you're looking at me and you're not in the stock market. So, getting into the stock market, better late than never if you're not already in it. That is another way to be into business. So, you're buying shares of other businesses. Another example of being in business would be investing in startups. So, an example of that would be WeFunder. You can check them out, research them. That's just another example. But the primary way, even though the stock market is important and it's important to be in the stock market, the primary way is actually having a physical business. Something that a lot of people don't think about. Why? Because we're taught to go to school, get an education, and go find a job. So, number 1 is business. Number 2 is real estate. So, real estate is what you hear about all the time. So, real estate is slow, takes a long time. However, it is guaranteed wealth. All right. So, when it comes to real estate, the reason why people like real estate is because when the tenant pays the rent, this rent is covering all of your expenses and is putting money in your pocket on top of it. Now, the money in the pocket, it may be small. Say, for example, you have a single family home renting it out for, let's say, $1,300 a month. So this rent is going to cover all of the expenses. It's going to cover the taxes. It's going to cover the insurance. It's going to cover maintenance. It's going to cover management fees. So after you take out all of the expenses, that would leave you with money to put in your pocket, anywhere from 300 to 500. All right. So depending on what type of real estate you do, that profit is going to be small. For example, single family home, and you're doing the traditional long-term rental, it's going to be about 300 to 500. But then you have these other areas that you can go into besides the traditional real estate. For example, you can do Airbnb, you can do pad split, you can do furnish finder, you could do the midterm rental structure, um, for example. So those would be better than the traditional way. If you learn things like industry and you learn midterm rental, that's going to give you a better profit than just doing it the traditional way. All right. So when it comes to real estate, you are investing for cash flow and appreciation. Appreciation is the long-term gain. Cash flow is now. So buying something that's going to give you cash flow now is going to put money in your pocket now. So real estate investors like real estate because of the fact that you're getting cash flow. Also, you are getting tax breaks. So because of the code, the way the code is written, they give tax breaks to people that invest in real estate. And that is through tax depreciation. So this profit that you are getting every month, you are barely paying taxes on it. And all of this is legal. All right. Also, real estate investors like real estate because of the fact that when you buy something and it appreciates, say, for example, you buy $100,000 house and then it appreciates to 500,000. When you sell it, you don't have to pay taxes if you use what is called a 1031 exchange. So you're buying something bigger and you're legally not paying taxes when you sell it because of the 1031 exchange. So these are the reasons why real estate investors like real estate. Cash flow, money in your pocket. Tax breaks, you're barely paying taxes legally. And then when you go to sell, after it appreciates, when you go to sell, again, you're not paying taxes. So you got $100,000, it appreciated to 500,000. You sell it. If you use the 1031 exchange, you're legally not paying taxes on that money. And those are the main reasons why real estate investors like real estate. All right. So that is number 2, getting cash flow for the rest of your life. So you do all this upfront work to get the property. You may have to do some repairs on it, maybe light cosmetic repairs, depending on what you buy. Light cosmetic is preferable than a full rehab, especially if you are new and especially if your money is limited. So a light cosmetic repairs. So you have to do all that work up front. You have to find the house. You have to analyze the deal. And then you can get your property manager that is going to put the tenant into the house and basically get the house set up. But then after it's set up, then it becomes pretty passive if you're using the property manager. The property manager is the one that is now responsible for the house, and you manage the property manager. All right, so that is number 2, real estate. Then lastly, number 3 would be gold. All right, physical gold, not the gold that you buy on the stock exchange. Physical gold. The reasoning behind this is that if anything happens with the dollar, US dollar collapses, you still have something, all right? That's physical gold. It's a hedge against inflation, and then it's also more of a protection, right? So look into that, check that out. If you have not done that, you have not had the time, look into that area of physical gold if you are interested. And that's more for um, protective reasons. Also, there are things like Bitcoin. Bitcoin is, you hear different stories about Bitcoin. You hear people that lost all their money because they had it on the wrong exchanges, things like that. However, Bitcoin is also turning people into millionaires and billionaires. And so, what they do is they go buy Bitcoin when it's very, very low. They don't tell anybody, they keep it a secret. And then they become millionaires, and it's still a secret. All right. So do me a favor, if you like the channel, I need you to hit that like button. If you're not a subscriber, I need you to do me a favor, hit that subscribe button and notification bell next to it so that you will not miss an episode. If you are interested in finances, check out my newsletter, which will be in the description below. Also, tune in. I will be bringing people onto the show. I will be bringing real estate investors and people that own businesses. So tune in for business ideas. All right. Thank you for watching, everyone. Don't forget, on your way out, hit that like button, and I will see you in the next video.